So, you want to make a scratchy, worn material texture thing. Actually, you know what? I was supposed to go get some roses. I'll be back. Because it looks like the Terminator, guys. Don't you get it? Hey guys, welcome back to TutsByKai. I'm Kai, and today we are back in Blender 2.9 once again. Taking a look at this like worn, scratchy material thing that we have going on here. So this is pretty much what it looks like without anything on it. Let's go ahead and just move those out of the way. So this is what it looks like without anything on it. Obviously, it kind of looks like the Terminator a little bit. Let me turn screen space reflections back on as well. Here's what it looks like without anything. And then if we go ahead and actually plug in all of these nodes, the normal into the normal and the color into the roughness, you can see that is what it looks like after everything is set up. So as you can see, we got a lot of nice little scratches here on the head all over the place. Looks like some worn areas that have been chipped away and whatnot. I can also darken this for even cooler kind of look to it as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at this bad boy real quick. So it's not that difficult, actually. It's just a few nodes just placed in some correct places, I guess. I don't know what the end of that sentence was supposed to be. Anyway, the first thing we have is, of course, just the regular default principal BSDF shader here that comes with a material. Everything is set to 0 except for, of course, IOR. Just leave that how it is. Metallic is all the way up on 1. Specular is all the way up on 1. And the color is a nice gray color about in the middle somewhere. It doesn't really matter where it is, actually. I mean, you can make it a color even if you want to. It doesn't look as cool, but, you know, it's fine. We're going to go ahead and just put that back. And about somewhere in the center, maybe a little bit higher for a nice little metal like this. Of course, this is just for the, you know, roughness. It's not actually for the Terminator. But it's not really a Terminator. It's just a skeleton. But it looks like the Terminator to me. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and move on now. So the next nodes we have is actually an invert node. I'll get to that in a second. And a bump node. Both of these are fed into a color ramp. So first of all, these two right here are Shift A, search, invert, for the invert right there. And then Shift A, of course, you guessed it, search, bump, and you got bump right there. Now, the strength is on 0.1 because if you put it any higher, it starts looking like this. And it's just, I mean, if you want that much scratchiness, okay, listen. If you want that much scratches, you put that many scratches, okay? Ain't nobody judging your scratch level, all right? I'm just saying, if you scratch yourself enough, you're going to start bleeding. So don't scratch that hard, all right? Okay, so we're going to put that on 0.1, and we're going to leave the distance on 1. And we're going to plug the color ramp, which is a Shift A, search, color ramp. You guessed it. Color ramp right there. Boom, biggity, boom, boom. We're going to plug that into the color, and it goes into the height of the bump. And we're going to plug the color of the color ramp into the color of the invert. And then we're going to actually get rid of, see, by default, the color ramp shader comes with 2 little nodes here. So a white one and a black one on both ends of this little spectrum over here. So if we go ahead and select the white one, hit delete, we can just drag this black one into approximately the center, which is about 0.4. The reason this is about 0.4 because if I change this value, you can see if I move it up, it starts making this look a little weird and sharp-edged. So I really thought that 0.4 was a nice value because if you put it all the way on 0, it looks like this. Pretty much everything is scratchy. Looks kind of nice, but I wanted a nice variation, so we went with something about 0.4. If you look up here, in this area, you can see this is like smooth right here, but this is all rough. So if I put this back on 0, you can see that is also like it moves it around in a really weird way, and it's just like it's very strange. So like the higher it is, you see the less scratches we have, right? So this is all the way up on 1. You can see we have these scratches here. If I zoom in, you can see we have some scratches here, but for the most part, this is mainly smooth through here. But if I turn it all the way down, you see we're getting a lot more of that scratchiness coming through. You can see it definitely down here on the chest and ribs as well. So that is that right there. I got this model from 3dscans.com, by the way. 3D spelled out THREED scans.com. Not sponsored. I just like the website. We've done that before in the past. We're going to go ahead and move on now. We have the Shift A Voronoi. No, I spelled that wrong because I can't spell. English fails me. Voronoi texture right there. You see, we go ahead and put that down. You can see we didn't really change much. I didn't change anything, actually. The scale, the distance of the Voronoi is plugged into the factor of the color ramp. Move that on over here. And then we have one more color ramp, so we'll just grab this one and hit Shift D to duplicate that. And you can see we just move it up here. I put the white back, so with this little plus button, and added this new little keyframe marker thing, I guess you could call it. And I just dragged that all the way back up to the white and then pulled it back over, and then I pulled the black one over with it as well. The position on this black one is about 0.45. And this is very important because if you change the value of this one, you can see we get some very, very weirdness going on. So if I zoom in here, you can see, look at his head here. This is what's a very good example. If I move this black one around, you can see if the higher we go, it starts moving the stuff around, and you can see it kind of like wears it and like makes it like this is like no wear and tear at all. If the black is all the way to the left, it's like no wear and tear. And then the further we keep going, we start getting a little bit of that roughness. Oh, it's a lot of roughness. It's practically all rough. And now we're going back over the other side. And now we're going back to shiny once again. So it's a very cool way to do this. You can also mess around with the white as well. But it doesn't really work as well. So if I pull that one up here and then move the black one, you can see that it will have much less of an effect because it's also playing in tune with these over here. So you're going to keep that white. You're going to keep that white all the way up to the right. And then you're going to put this one at about the black about at 0.45 was a good value that I had. But of course, like I said, you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. Don't do exactly what I'm doing. I want you to play around with these settings and make stuff off of this. This is just a starting guide, as all of my tutorials are anyway. So next and finally, we're gonna go ahead and hit Shift A, search for a noise texture right there. Shaboom. Shabiggity bop bop. There we go. Plug that right there. And you see the scale we have on this is 6, because any lower, it looks like that. Not enough. Any higher, it looks like that. Also, very weird. It just depends. Like I said, I mean, you can turn the scale up. What does 50 look like? You can turn the scale up. I mean, that looks good too. Actually, it looks really good. I like the way that looks. But I mean, I just had it on 6 because that was a nice value. You can put it on, what does 100 look like? That's fine. I mean, it's just more, you know. It's just more. What was 1,000? We're going insane now. We're going insane. Yeah, that's way too much. Now, unless you're trying to go for something that looks like this, like it looks really rough, like, I mean, this is also a very good look, but I mean, I wanted wear and tear, not whatever this is. But yeah, so that's like micro fine definition. So that'd be good for like just a regular texture of like something, you know, skin. It's like skin actually. If I made this like a skin tone, but for now we're just gonna leave that on 6, so it has that nice wear and tear effect. So we have some pieces that are shiny, some pieces that are rough. And Digtail's on 16. The roughness is on 0.7 and the distortion is on 0. Unless you want some distortion, you can put some distortion on there. It'll make some of that little lininess, which looks really good for like metal. It looks like scrapes of metal. So I can actually probably get away with putting like this distortion on like maybe 20. 50 too high. 20 might be too high as well, but it looks really cool though. That looks so cool. See, the thing with materials like this is that there's so many different types of things you can do. There's so many different settings you can play around with, and there's so many things that look cool. So I never know what to set it on because they all look so cool. But I'm actually gonna leave it on 10 because I really like the way this scrapes up like this. You know, it looks like something actually scraped across it, like, you know, he was fighting with Arnold or something. You know, and he was like fighting, and he was like, he got scraped, and it. Yeah. All right. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead and move on. Like I said, that is plugged into the color. The color is plugged into the factor. And I didn't say this, but the color of the color ramp is plugged into the scale of that as well. So now, as you can see, we have this full material. It looks great the way that it is. I do hope you, ladies and gentlemen, enjoyed it. You can also make really nice, like copper and bronzy kind of stuff like this. Drop that color down. Put this to like a more color like that. You got a nice little bronze texture like that, which looks really good. I hope you, ladies and gentlemen, enjoyed today's very simple wear and tear kind of procedural scratches. Very important, procedural scratches. Procedural scratch tutorial. I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, in the next one. But until then, bye-bye.